Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Story of Sam and welcome back to a brand new NBA 2K22 build video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys another one of the best point guard builds in 2K22. If you guys are brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and of course guys, make sure to drop a like. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So of course, the position is going to be a point guard. I like to go right-handed on all my builds, and of course, jersey number does not matter, but let's get on to the actual pie charts. So for this build, I'm actually going to pick the third pie chart right here. It is the majority blue, secondary green. So it's going to be a shooting and finishing build at its core. The one downside of this pie chart is you only get one category of Hall of Fame badges, and that is finishing, but still, I think this is the best skill breakdown for this build. So I'm going to go with the third pie chart right here. Next up, we have the physical profile. It's a pretty easy decision. We want to be the fastest player we possibly can. The first physical profile on the list is definitely the best one. 85 speed, 85 acceleration. Definitely pick the first one right here. And now into setting our actual potentials. First of all, I'm going to start off at the very top. My close shot's going to be an 85 right there, 85 close shot. I'm going to max out my driving layup, max out my driving dunk. So we have 16 finishing badges. Next up, I'm going to max out my mid-range shot, max out 3-point shot. I'm going to put my free throw at a 60 right here, and I'm going to max out my post fade. So we have 17 shooting badges. Next up, I'm going to max out my pass accuracy, max out my ball handling, and then I'm going to put my post control up so I still have 16 finishing badges. I'm trying to find the sweet spot. Let's see, there it is right here, 53 post control. So we get 16 finishing badges. And with our last 139 attributes left, I'm going to put on perimeter defense, lateral quickness, steal, and lastly block right here. So we have 5 defensive badges. As you can tell, this build is extremely versatile. It's great at finishing, shooting, and playmaking. Now this build is very similar to the 2K20 offensive threat. It's going to be a great ISO build because it can finish at the rim, and it's also a great shooter and playmaker. Obviously, the one downside of this build is obviously defense, but I feel like if you want to be an offensive minded ISO build, this is a great build to make. Moving on to the body shape, this does not matter at all. Obviously, just pick whatever you want. I'm just going to go with solid right here. Next up, onto the height. Now, in my opinion, keeping it at 6'3" is the best option, but I've seen people go 6'4" in this build, maybe even drop it down to 6'2", but I think 6'3" is the perfect sweet spot for this build right here, so I'm going to pick that right there. Moving on to the weight, this is pretty self-explanatory. We want to get a lot of speed back, so we have an 88 speed right now and an 88 acceleration. Definitely put the weight at 170 pounds. Next up, we have the wingspan. Now you could minimize the wingspan, but this build is really good at finishing, so I don't want to really lose all those finishing stats. I think the best way to go is put your wingspan up a little bit. I think 82.3 inches is the best spot for the wingspan. You get +2 close shot, +2 driving dunk, +2 standing dunk. You do lose a little bit of mid-range and 3-point shot, but trust me guys, with our 17 shooting badges and that rating, we are going to be just fine from downtown. This build can speed boost at a 98 overall. That's when this build is really going to hit its full potential. And clearly, another benefit of making our wingspan a little bit bigger than the average, we get a lot of defensive attributes back, so I think this is the best spot right here for the wingspan. Next up, we have our takeover options. We have 4 separate options: slashing takeover, shot creating takeover, playmaking takeover, and spot up shooter takeover. Now honestly, all these takeovers are solid, but I would recommend either slashing takeover or spot up shooter takeover. I'm just gonna pick spot up shooter because I feel like it is a little bit better than slasher, and as you can see, we have made the slashing playmaker build shades of DeJounte Murray, LaMelo Ball, and Jerry West. Again guys, this build is very similar to the 2K20 offensive threat. It's basically amazing at everything on offense. That's why I think it's one of the best point guard builds in the game, especially if you want to ISO and just be a well-rounded guard. Moving on to the finishing badges, I'm going to throw on Hall of Fame Fearless Finisher, Hall of Fame Slithery Finisher. I'm also going to put on Hall of Fame Posterizer, and lastly, I'm going to put on Hall of Fame Limitless Takeoff. I've heard really good things about Limitless Takeoff. I'm not too educated on all the finishing badges because I don't have a build that gets a lot of finishing badges, but I have heard that some of these are the best finishing badges in the game, so I definitely recommend putting on a combination of these badges. Next up, we have the shooting badges, and unfortunately, we only get gold shooting badges. That is one of the downsides of this build, but I still think it is a great overall build. I'm going to throw on gold Hot Zone Hunter, gold Limitless Spot Up, gold blinders. I'm going to put on gold green machine, why not? Gold Sniper, of course. Sniper is the best shooting badge in the game. And with our last 2 upgrades left, I'm going to put on Silver Deadeye right there. Now, if this build was more of a spot up build, I definitely would put on Catch and Shoot and Corner Specialist, but I envision this build being more like a primary ball handler, like a point guard. You're going to be dribbling most of the time, so I feel like putting on Catch and Shoot and Corner Specialist aren't really worth it, and I think the badges that I have on right now suit this build really well. Next up, we have the playmaking badges. Definitely put on Gold Quick First Step, Gold Quick Chain, and Gold Handles for Days. Those are essential badges. Also, Gold Unpluckable, a very, very good badge. I think having on Bronze Bailout is very essential, and with our last 3 upgrades left, I mean, it's really up to you. You could put on Gold Floor General, Gold Dimer. All these badges are great, but I'm going to put on Gold Dimer right here just because I think it is a little bit better than Floor General, but they are both good badges, but these are the badges I recommend for playmaking. And lastly, we have our 5 defensive badges. Not that many defensive badges, but again, this build is definitely more offensive minded. I'm going to throw on Gold Clamps and Silver Intimidator. Pretty basic stuff right there. You could put on Bronze Interceptor. I think Interceptor is a pretty good badge, but I'm going to go with Silver Intimidator and Gold Clamps on this build. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the best slashing playmaker build in NBA 2K22 current gen. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and of course, guys, make sure to drop a like on today's video. That would be great. And if you do want to watch more of my NBA 2K videos, I'm gonna leave an end screen right when this video finishes to 2 of my previous uploads that I think you guys would really enjoy. So have a great rest of your day, guys. It's been Story of Sam, and I'm out. Peace.